Aloha kakahiaka kako. Good morning. I'm Daniel Leatherman, a federal contractor with the Reserve Component Transition Assistance Program here in the state of Hawaii. I'm often referred to as a RCTAA or sometimes just a TAA. As I cover the reserve components throughout the state, I'm sorry I'm not able to be with you this morning. I'm giving a briefing over at the Army National Guard unit at the Waiawa Armory in nearby Pearl City. A little bit about me. I am a veteran, having retired recently from the Hawaii Air National Guard in September of 2022. And of course, the lessons that I have learned and the knowledge I share as a TAA are from the successes and the mistakes that I made along the way, both as a service member and as someone who has recently gone through the retirement and separation process. So what do? As a TAA, I am here to direct you or other service members to the benefits that you've earned with the compassion of someone who has also been there. I'm different from the TAP or Transition Assistance Program in that I'm here not just when a service member is preparing to separate, but also serve them while they are serving and even after they've separated. Now, the official eligibility rule, as you see here on the slide, is 180 days or more of Title 10. However, the reality is I'm here to help any service member with the benefits and entitlements they have earned. For example, I have a senior airman who is wondering if they can qualify for a VA home loan. Well, the answer is yes, if they've served for 90 days of non-training active duty. So, in other words, BMT doesn't count. Or they have 90 days of cumulative active duty, right? It's shorter tours of not just annual training, but 90 days of active duty and 30 of those being continuous. And there are other requirements as well. But nonetheless, I'm here to direct them with those benefits. Now, I'm a bit of a one-stop information hub, if you will. And so it's my job to know what benefits service members may have earned and who to contact at the different organizations so I can streamline the process for them and ensure that they receive their benefits and entitlements. Information, rules, and eligibility change regularly, and there's no one that can make things more complicated than the federal government. So if I can't answer your question, I will help with the research so that we can find the right answer together. I can also cut through some of the red tape, and what I'm here to do is stay with you through the whole process. So, for example, recently I assisted a retiree on the Big Island who turned age 60 and now was applying for his retirement pay. He was born and raised here in Hawaii, local boy, but served in the Utah National Guard for well over 20 years, and then after he retired, relocated back here to Hawaii. So some of his records, as they sometimes can be, they needed correction. And so part of my job was to help see the problem and then put the information in the hands of the right people. So I was able to connect him, the offices in the Utah National Guard and the Hawaii National Guard together and get that information flowing. So the records could be corrected. I'm sorry about that. So the records could be corrected and his retirement pay processed. So I'm no miracle worker, but it's also knowing who to call. So I work with Family Readiness to assist members with accessing food and housing programs as well. I work with the chaplain's office to assist other members in need in perhaps accessing other benefits that they might have afforded to them. In the list of the categories that you see here on the slide, what are the areas that I typically see or cover the most? The majority of service members who access my services are seeking help with things like GI Bill benefits and VA disability application processes. This includes especially those preparing to retire or separate, although not always. They have questions about TRICARE, about SGLI to VGLI conversion, and more. I did have a member ask about legal services for a tricky family situation, and was able to point them, of course, in the right direction of our JAG office for powers of attorney, as it may be, or to seek legal referrals through the Hawaii Bar Association's referral service. I also assist families of service members. So right now, for example, I'm also working with the widow of a Navy reservist who needs to renew her ID card and is trying to access VA services for surviving family members, for not only for herself, but also for their college-age son. It really does run the gamut. Now, how do people get a hold of me? For those who are out processing, I am on the out processing checklist and address major concerns as they separate with a sort of a general retirement and out processing briefing. I have a flyer or a sign such as what you see here, and many are posted in many units and work areas and around. I get referrals from family readiness, from the financial counselor, from the chaplains, from the first sergeants, and of course by word of mouth. I do try to make regular office calls to units when I'm able during the week to cover the full-time AGR and technicians, but I'm also out briefing during RSD weekends. Next drill in December, I will be in Hilo briefing and assisting members of the 277th Engineering Battalion for the Army Guard and for the 291st Combat Communications Squadron of the Air Guard. And they're both located at the Keaukaha Military Reservation right there in Hilo near the airport. So if you need to reach me or if you have some specific questions that may not have been answered here, please feel free to reach out to me via my contact information that you see here on the slide. You can also scan the QR code on the slide and I'll be happy to follow up with you. Thank you so much for visiting and learning about our programs. Ha'olila ho'omaikai. I wish you a very happy Thanksgiving. Aloha.